Welcome, everybody, to Politics with the Princess. You are watching us on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. You can watch us on Facebook Live, YouTube, and all other social media platforms. Today, of course, I have the guests I had last time, which I love them so much. They're back again today. We have the lovely Tracy Pease, who leads ABC for Justice. And then we have the incredible, smartest man in the world when it comes to politics, right?
And Tashana's boo.
Tashana's boo. Oh, we say boo again. Al BJ Williams. How are you guys today? How are you today? There's so much going on, but how are you today? Let's get into how are you doing?
Tracy, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fair to partly cloudy.
Fair to partly cloudy. It sounds like Lansing or Detroit's weather. I'm actually doing okay. It's a lot going on, but yeah, I mean the weather is gloomy, sun shining just a little bit. People are afraid and screaming to the top of their lungs about what's going on in this country and this world, and then right here locally, because politics is all local, people are pulling their hair out over
Yeah.
this current election. Outside of that, I'm doing great. How about you, Tashana? What are you doing?
I am well. I am well. And so we want to get started, right? Because there's a lot going on. A lot has happened. We're going to dive into some topics. And we just want everybody to know that these are our opinions. These are not the opinions of people we hang with, we work with, or anything. Tracy Pease will be giving her own opinion. I will be giving mine. And Al BJ Williams will be giving his. So, these are not the opinions of WJZZ Cool TV. These are ours. So I just wanted to make that very clear. The first topic that we want to dive into, and I have so many feelings about this. We want to dive into Trump celebrating his 100 days in Michigan. He was in Michigan. He came to celebrate the first 100 days um, on the 2024 campaign, after he won. So, how do you feel about that? He was greeted by his supporters and held a large rally focusing on the economy, immigration, Michigan importance in the upcoming election, apparently. Who wants to dive in first to say how they feel about this?
Tracy?
Okay. So, as far as Donald Trump going ahead and spending his first 100 days here in Michigan, wow, was that tone deaf of our governor. We have been hit with tariffs, um, immigration, and here I have the governor of Michigan going ahead and not only sharing a stage with this idiot, but giving him a hug. I have a serious issue with that. I realize that she is supposed to be doing what is best for the state of Michigan. I understand that Selfridge Air Force Base has been on the chopping block for quite some time. Um, but bottom line, she did not need to be there. And back in 2020, we had another uh, politician, a state rep, Karen Whitsett, who went ahead and went to Trump during the pandemic for PPE and tests for her district. And she credited the COVID medication at the time for saving her life. All right. She spoke her truth, is what she did. All right. Black woman. She was censured.
Okay.
So, and she was censured by the 13th Congressional District. So, what I want to know is what are we going to do about our governor If you can censure a black woman, why are we not doing something about our white governor?
Okay. Al, what are your feelings on it?
I mean, the governor's got to govern, and so I expect her to try to save Selfridge Air Base. I don't expect her to continue to cozy up to Trump as she has been doing. Although, you got to remember in the midst of everything that's going on, the elections in Canada, the tariffs all over, the auto industry upset about its tariffs and how the tariffs are affecting Michigan. We are really an essential part of the discussion internationally. Um, and so she has to figure out, because of her political future, um, how to navigate and govern. But my problem with her is she's doing that in a way that is not in line with what what Democrats need. What we need as Democrats. I mean, I think she's doing it in line with what she wants and what she needs for her future, but not necessarily for the people who got her there. I think she's always been, part of the one of the janitors of the Uniparty, and not necessarily part of the Democratic Party. Not a hardcore Democrat, but like a corporate Democrat. So this is not out of step with what she's already with who she has always been. She's been a janitor for corporations for a long time, and so Donald Trump coming in as a corporate shark, a corporate hound, and a corporate CEO, and now president. I wouldn't expect her to do anything else but his bidding. That's why she was in D.C. hiding behind a folder. That's why she's here, welcoming him with open arms, cozying up next to him, even outside of Selfridge. Some of this stuff could have been done with a phone call. Some of this stuff, even with Selfridge, could have been done by John James, who's a Republican and a veteran and a war veteran, who could have advocated for Selfridge, and she could have worked alongside of John James to help make it happen. She did not necessarily have to be there and or give a tour. And so I said it before, and I'll continue to say it. We got to stop supporting these Republican like Democrats, and
Mhm.
that's what Gretchen Whitmer is, and she's showing it even to this day. She don't have to continue to hide behind the folder. We all know she's Republican like.
Eh,
Well, let me get my thoughts.
I just want to know if anybody has seen John James. I mean, it's like he's missing in action. Has anybody visually
I
seen
haven't
him?
seen him, but I mean, with this, I'm confused. I was confused about the DC trip, and I think one, she has a team. I don't think she's making these decisions by herself. I think is I guess we would call them what consultants or what are they called? Deputies or whatever they're called, right? Advisors. That was
Political
one.
directors.
Political advisors and stuff. And I think timing is it's hard. Okay. So I think DC could have been a call. And I understand because you make a post and people be like, well, she has to govern. And I understand that she has to govern, like you said, Al. We agree. I wonder, could DC have been a call on the phone and say, hey, we need this, right? I also wonder when you walk in a room and you know it's cameras, and if you don't want to be photographed, why stay in the room? I think you can leave the room. I don't believe that anybody will hold you in a room and say, no, you got to stay here. So maybe we'll get more detail and figure that out. Because the image of this with the folder on the face, I just think about the future ads. If she was
Hmm.
considering running for president, the ad will say, would you want this person who hides behind a folder? Like
Yep.
that is like just you're dead, right? With me. Like that is like they measured it with the old ad. What is it? The tanker ad. What was his name? Dukakis,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
The Dukakis ad. And then you have the revolving door ad that, just killed campaigns. And so my fear is if she does decide, somebody's going to use that for an ad, right?
So I
And
guess.
then my other concern is this. I don't know if you really had to be at the rally, like Al said. I think, yes, you can work. I agree with working, but the shaking of the hand, that's another ad for me, right? That's an ad where, wow, DEI was while DEI wasn't doing anything, while people were being hurt, while people were being shipped off, while all these things were happening, you were giving Donald Trump a tour of Michigan, right? You were helping him celebrate his 100 days in office. That's another ad. So, and I'm pretty sure the team thought about this. So I'm pretty sure that they know what will be coming if she possibly runs for president, because you can't not know that that will be used. One other thing you touched on is that what Democrats need right now. I am a disappointed Democrat, and I can say what I need right now. I need somebody that is standing up for people,
Mhm.
which goes against the question that I asked on Facebook is who is leading the Democrats now? Who is leading it? Because it can't be her leading the Democrats,
Mhm.
because most Democrats don't. They're right now so angry because they feel like everything is being taken away. They're not of that mindset right now to say
Mhm.
let's merge or let's shake his hand, right? They're not there right now. So who is leading this army full of Democrats that does not feel like, they're not ready for what the governor or who else what the governor is doing right now, who
Yep.
should be leading Democrats. And with the Karen Woodset thing, I do think that's an issue. Now, that's another issue for me. Because if you want to say a person went there, they say that the governors went there to support the people of Michigan. The people of Michigan needed this. Suffrage should not be closed. It creates this many jobs. That was Karen Wood said what she said. She said, I
Yep.
am going here because I need COVID supplies for my constituents here. She was going asking for something that she felt
Yep.
was life threatening. And she got crucified just for meeting with him. So I do think that, hey, we got to look at both. Now,
Yep.
however people see it, that is my feeling on it. But is there anything else on this topic? Because there's so many more. But that's my feeling. Who is leading the Democrats now? Because it can't be her. Like
Mhm.
I can't follow right now. I'm not in the headspace to follow that. That's what I'm like. And there's a lot of Democrats like me that are
Absolutely.
not. Like I'm not like
Yep.
they're like DEI. People are getting picked up off the streets, and all of our colleges here in Michigan, and probably going to get shipped somewhere and sent back, and visas are being stripped away. And then it's like I can't. And then they say, I think we should think about everybody and not just what. And I'm gonna tell Michiganders, not just what's good for Michigan. So just because Michigan got this, what about everybody else that's being treated like crap, right? So, but Michiganders can say, "Oh, we got this. Oh, we had to do it for Michiganders." What about? I want somebody who running for president. What about the whole country?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
if y'all want us to sacrifice, guess what? Sometimes we got to sacrifice. So, anything else on this topic? Well,
Uh, I mean, I hear you. I think that Gretchen was never really leading Democrats. I think she's the governor in the state, and I think unfortunately our party structure, has it to where we symbolize and put her on top as the leader of the party, but in actuality, she's not really leading Democrats, nor has she ever been. I think she's led Democrats even less than even less than I would say Warren Evans has in this case. I mean, she's not really leading the
so
Democratic
who
Party.
is the leader?
Well, I mean, I think that the party is big. I mean, you got different factions leading the party in this state, and even back. I mean, you could the history of our party is it takes time for a leader to emerge. Even Obama. I mean, you even Bill Clinton. It took time. We went a couple of years without an identified party leader before a real leader emerged from the ashes of George Bush or from the ashes of George Bush the first after when Bill Clinton won. It took time for John Kennedy for Kennedy to get to really emerge from the ashes. So right now, I think that there are some people emerging, even here in Michigan. But I think that for us to really have a party because we are a party so big with so many facets, and we're not just a homogenistic party like the Republican Party is, where you got mostly white men running it. It takes time for leaders to emerge.
But this is we don't. Okay, we don't have time.
That's what I was going to say.
Like right now, the world is really suffering. Like bad stuff is happening. Like you, one day we were sitting at home and you said, "Oh my God, they just arrested a federal judge." That is anarchy. Right now, like people are not like it's bad.
Here's
And nobody's leading right now. We don't have time for one to emerge. Like Cory Booker did that long speech, however many hours, and then he goes off and votes to approve another appointee for Donald Trump. Like, what was the point? So we don't have time right now.
Here's the thing: when you go ahead and you talk about, like George W., hell, even Reagan. And these are the Republicans that I remember. All right. They were not. I mean, Reagan had a piss poor human rights platform, but I was never worried about one of them pushing that button and blowing people up. I was not worried. I mean, it was, Roe v. Wade, a woman's right to choose. I mean, ever since that passed in 1973, everybody was talking about how, oh, we're going to overturn it. We're going to overturn it. I never worried about that.
And the clock keeps ticking, and the world moves on. But so yes, it seems like the world is coming to an end, but it's not.
It's
It
not
seems
coming
like
to an end.
it seems
but
like we're in tumultuous times, and we are. And we need to continue to fight. The pendulum is switching in the arc of justice is long, and so all of that is true. And so you're right. There needs to be a leader within the party, but I don't think we need to rush into it. I think that person will. I think that person will emerge, and I really do. But in places and spaces like this, in city, because politics is all local, we need to be organizing locally
and that's
around
what we do.
leaders.
Yep.
And
so,
that's what we really need to be focused on. And leaders will emerge.
We're gonna go to the next topic. Speaking of why I believe, and I guess Tracy believe, we need to rush into it. So there was this article that we discussed, and that hit the fan. Was it Thursday? I can't remember what day it hit the fan, but the article is where 150, 100 over actually it's over 150 pastors stepped out and endorsed Mike Duggan. It made headlines this week by securing, like, he secured the public endorsements of over 150 pastors across the city. In a highly coordinated show of unity, these faith leaders pledged their support at a press conference that highlighted Duggan's record in neighborhood revitalization, job creation, and public safety. Duggan emphasized that the moral and community leadership that pastors provide. So he gave them their credit. And so we'll name off some of these pastors, one being the Wendell Anthony, also the president of the Detroit chapter, NAACP. What's the name of the church? What's the name of the church? Fellowship Chapel. Now, let's read off the candidates in the race before we. Oh, okay. So
Solomon
we can.
Ken Locke.
No, he didn't. No. He's a candidate. Candidate. We have to pull him up. I will read off the candidates, and once some of the other pastors who endorse, while you guys give me your view on it. Al or Tracy, who wants to go first, and I'll get it and read that off.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna pull up the article.
I mean, I don't read too much into it. I think those pastors, I don't read much into that endorsement at all. I think that there have been people who have worked with Duggan in the city of Detroit and have received investments or been a part of investments or been put into place. and those individuals are stepping up in line as Duggan is going for governor. I mean, I don't. These are his friends. I don't think this is about to them, um, being Democratic or Republican. I don't even think it's about to them being a pastor. I think it's about profit more than anything else, and they see an opportunity, and so they're stepping in line to support their friend because they see profits on the line coming down the pipeway. That's what I really believe that's about. Now, what does that mean for black folk in Detroit and around the state? It's 150 pastors. There's more than 150 churches on the west side of Detroit, and most of those pastors are, in my eyes, are very, very important pastors who have been around for decades. And maybe this is the time for younger pastors who are politically active to step up. Maybe that's what this is about. Because these are the same pastors who've been endorsing people who have not supported us for decades. Same pastors who, and I applaud Pastor Wendell Anthony for all the great work that he's done. He's a great champion in the community. Phenomenal pastor. I mean, the guy can preach a sermon. Gives the best introductions I've ever heard in my life. But as the president of NAACP, a black man and a Detroiter, when are you gonna stop supporting all these white men?
So you think that this endorsement it brings no value? It brings value.
I
What
think
does
it's
it
too
do?
early to tell. I think the governor's race isn't until next year. And who's to say that Duggan is even going to finish? I mean, this is still early. And I think it's too early to tell. And I do believe that at the end of the day, there are a lot more churches out there than just these 150 people, 150 pastors can touch.
Tracy?
So, I mean, the way that I look at it, and I have done some work in Detroit, but as a white woman, I'm not I'm not gonna get an endorsement, or it's gonna be difficult to get an endorsement from black pastors in the city of Detroit. From what I know of the black community, you know what? Church is a big deal. They listen to their pastors.
Yep.
All right. And while there may be more than 150 pastors in the city of Detroit, hell, even more than 150 churches, um, you know, pastors talk, congregations talk. And if they're determined and they went ahead and endorsed Mike Duggan, what chance does Jocelyn Benson have to get into those churches to do her campaigning if they are backing Mike Duggan? What about who who else is running? Um,
Okay, so we'll
you
talk
know,
about who else is running. My thoughts is that I believe it makes a huge difference. I think that black people, we will name some of the pastors, we got it up, and there are pastors that have a large flock, right?
mhm.
And I think pastors, like you said, talk to pastors. Um, so I think it makes a huge difference in a very bold statement. It does something, like it shakes it up. I also think it does something to what we said after November the 5th. I think the Michigan Democratic Party needs to wake up and finally realize
Mhm.
that the black vote is not reliable as they think it is. I think we know this, that Mike Duggan was the leader of the Michigan Democratic Party. He was the leader of the Democrats in Michigan. And it seems like he's turned independent and he's taken their membership with him.
Right.
And this is I see this as being the beginning of that. I can tell the party that my vote is not reliable. I
I
am going
understand.
to vote for the best candidate. That's who I am going to vote for. Right now with the Senate race, I am highly looking at Abdul El Said. That's who I am looking at.
He's a Democrat.
But that is what I'm saying. I'm gonna vote for the best candidate. He's a Democrat. It's not about that's what it's changing my vote from I always gotta vote Democratic to I am more so looking at the candidate.
But he's a Democrat.
That's I guess you don't get what I'm saying.
I, I
So wait,
no,
hold on. Let me finish my statement. So I'm saying this to the Michigan Democratic Party. Our statewide ticket cannot. It must.
Say it.
It must. It cannot be an all white ticket.
Yep.
It cannot. It cannot. And how do we make that happen? People that have stepped up and said that they want to run that already have a job, guess what? Find somebody else to fill that space. Example, start with 11 congressional district. It's no diverse people over there that are educated where y'all know y'all say, oh, I am the congressman, I'm this, I am that, right? I don't need to do that right now. Can make sure that it's an even lane, is an even playing field. If that, our party, it's time for us to look at what is missing and fix it. Well, let me finish. What is missing and fix it. So if we do not have a diverse ticket, people will look elsewhere and people will go where they are valued. And that's the Mike Duggan effect. I said that with our own backbone in a press conference. If we don't feel valued, if we don't feel like we're listening to, you're not going to have that reliable black woman vote. You're already losing the pastors. Like Wendell Anthony, it is said in the article that Wendell Anthony is seen as the Michigan Democratic Party pastor. That's what has been stated in the article.
Well,
okay?
The party does have ecumenical leaders. He's probably on the list as one of them, so that could possibly be actually true.
And another,
but go ahead, Tracy.
Another article came out yesterday as well.
Bankley.
Yep, but another article came out about the Democrats are also losing the young vote.
Yes.
They're using
yes. So, and the thing is, the way the races are shaping up right now, it looks like we're going to have the same old. We're going to have it appears that way that we're going to have the same old. It appears that way that they've chosen who they want as Senate. They've chosen who they want as, like you just step in. It's like musical chairs of the elected officials. I'm so tired of that, and I'm over that.
How did they choose? Nobody's chosen the candidates. These people are just people who are stepping up to run.
That's not true. It's
listen.
Look,
let me
conversations happen behind closed doors.
I hear you. You're right, but nobody has chosen anyone. These people still have to run. Even Abdul didn't. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me finish. Even Abdul did not get chosen to run.
No, he would never get chosen.
Okay, so he's stepping up to run. So he's one of the many who have stepped up to run. None of them have been chosen to run. And so just as in the governor's race, let me just say this. I think that we've gotten leadership confused. I think that we are telling the party they need to choose a ticket when really it's on us to make sure that we put the right people up to be chosen. And it's not that the party has to choose them. Members come together. It's not the party leaders. Now, hold on. I know there are conversations in back rooms. But let me finish. I know that there are conversations in back rooms that happen. Yes, but if we don't do the job of making sure that people are prepared to run, then the only people that are going to be standing up there are people with money.
So wait, we do the job of making people are prepared for run. Did you remember the last Senate race? It was some qualified African Americans in that race. And what the party did is they had their chosen person and they backed that person and they bullied. Stop. Let's say the truth. They did bully people who was going to work with the other people. So Hill Harper's story, really? Hill Harper against Alyssa Slockin. Stop it.
I think that Hill Harper's campaign still could have been a lot better, and he could have won, even with all of the back channels from the party. That I believe that
the party should not have any back channels.
I don't think that Hill Harper's campaign was prepared enough. I think that we could have done a lot better.
Wow.
He was. I don't think that he was.
So you're saying that it was fair?
No, I'm not saying that it was fair, but I'm also saying that the better campaign won. And even his campaign could have been better. His
campaign could have been better without people calling people, threatening people not to work for Hill Harper. His campaign could have been better like that.
I think that we need to be honest.
We're going to be honest.
Okay, so hold on. Let me say this. Let me just finish. Listen, I think we need to be honest. Let me just with ourselves. We need to be honest with ourselves and stop blaming everyone else. So the campaign itself, we didn't do it. And I'm not saying that I was on the campaign, but but we got to point at ourselves first before we start blaming everybody else. That's our
I
problem
think
within
you're
the party.
misunderstanding
So
what we're saying. Let me say this because I gotta set the record straight right now.
He didn't run a good campaign.
He did not. But there were other people working against him and making calls to make sure he couldn't have the best people on that campaign. That was a fact. One being a man who passed away in D.C. that was told not to work. He bet not work on Hill Harper campaign or he would not have another contract. Stop. That's a fact.
That happens.
So what I'm
That's politics.
saying
That
is
happens.
what I'm saying is this. We as the Michigan Democratic Party know what the party needs. Yes, everybody has a right to run. But at some point, just like Coleman Young stepped in and said, this person needs to run, let's find something else for you. Even the playing field. Most African Americans probably feel like, look, they're going to do what they did to me to Hill Harper. They wasn't threatening people for Alyssa Slockin. They were threatening people for Hill Harper. So he could not have the best possible team. No, he did not have the perfect campaign. Oh, Lord, no. We know that. Let me finish. Let me finish. We know he did not have the perfect campaign. But what I am saying is, it is the job of leadership to maintain their voters. If they choose to carry an all-white ticket, they will lose the African American vote. Black women, I want a diverse ticket. And then there are some people, and then you want to talk about diverse ticket, you got Garland Gilchrist running for governor. Okay, then, that's a black man. So make it so even where this black man has a great opportunity to run. Don't try to stop him.
So
nobody's making it uneven for him to run for governor.
So
it's not.
now we got a black man.
He's running.
We got a black man that's running, right?
And he's running for governor. And you're spending more time talking about Duggan, who's a white guy,
I'm talking
than
about
the Garland.
what happened
So
with Duggan.
this is what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying for the party. And I hear what you're saying, but we gotta stop saying in the nomination process that whoever the party says that they want to nominate is who is going to be the person that everybody votes for. But it does not have to be that way. That's what I'm saying. I hear what you're saying, Tashana. I hear you loud and clear. But so for instance, Alyssa Slockin, she had the backing of her group of people that wanted to support her.
It was a coronation.
Well, I hear you. But listen to what I'm saying. Black folk have a sector of the party. There are facets within this party. If we want to actually make sure that people are treated fairly within the party, that we have to control the party. If we don't, then those controlling facets within the party are going to put in who they want to put in. That's what's happening. And I'm not saying that that's the end all be all or that's what has to happen. But at the end of the day, the only way we fix that is by pointing to ourselves and organizing within to fix it.
I'm sorry.
Not pointing at other people and blaming them.
I don't point at other people. I work. So I'm not saying that. If those who know me know that's all I do is organize all day. After we leave here, we're going to organize. Tomorrow we have an event where we're organizing Wayne County precinct delegates. So I don't blame. But I'm
not telling you to take it personally. I don't want you to take it personally.
This is what I'm saying to the party. Obviously, you're not just telling me. I don't believe Wendell Anthony. Let me just go with Duggan because he don't go with friends all the time. No, let me just go with Duggan because he's my friend. All these people. Let me just go with. They're going with Duggan because Duggan delivered, and they know Duggan delivers. That's why they're going with Duggan. They're not. He has a lot. Wendell Anthony has a lot of friends he's never endorsed. A lot of them he's never endorsed. A lot of people that came up in the NAACP that he's never endorsed.
So Jocelyn has never delivered?
I'm just saying he feels that, obviously he feels that Duggan delivered more, and he did a statement of why he's going with Duggan.
It's the money.
It's not the money.
It's the money.
And so I would say this, there are a number of other pastors that said that. We want to name just a few. Pastor Alonzo Bell. It was a big one. Edgar Van is on this list. And so I'm thinking the majority of all African American pastors, and that is, and they're all said in this article, the majority of them in this article were stomping heavily for Democrats.
Can I say something now?
Yes.
All right. First of all, the Democratic Party, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them anymore. I will not vote blue no matter who ever again. All right.
You trust Duggan more?
You know what? I don't like Duggan.
You trust him?
I have always I have always had issues. Always had issues with Duggan. All right. But I have bigger issues when I have the Democrats that are in office right now that go ahead and lie to my face. There's a difference. Duggan, no, I've never dealt with Duggan.
Who like Gretchen or like who's running for governor against who's the Democrat running for governor
So,
that has lied to your face?
so I'm saying the Democratic Party in general. You have.
Not the candidate, not the Democratic candidates running for governor. You talking about other people?
Well, the Democratic candidates running for governor, Jocelyn Benson, I think she did a great job with the Secretary of State. But what I'm looking at is I will not vote for another establishment Democrat. I won't do
You're
it.
done with the
I want
establishment.
I want
So
to know.
is
I
Duggan
want to know
establishment?
what I want to
Is
know.
Duggan establishment?
Okay, we're gonna have to
No.
go on to the
Duggan
next
is not the
topic.
establishment.
We gotta go on to the next topic.
He's an
I
independent.
said
He's
this,
corporate establishment at its finest.
but I can say this. This is what I'm gonna say about Duggan, and I know people. I've worked with Duggan. I worked for Duggan before. Well, I started with Duggan in 2013. It wasn't well, Tashana. You got to come back and do this for me. I think I always say this time and time and time again because people want to know what is it about Duggan? Why would people vote for him? What is it about Duggan? Time and time again, when you go, if you work in politics and you ask people, we say this time and time again, where did they come from? You like, where did they get their start? Most people say Ed. The older people now say Ed McNamara. A lot of people got their start from there. It's like, seeds going out, even all around the country, actually. Oh, I've come from Michigan. I got my start with Ed McNamara, right? The next name that people say, Coleman Young. I got my start from the Coleman Young administration. And the next people, oh, they say Kwame Kilpatrick. A lot of people say Kwame. I met a lot of people. And they say Mike Duggan. The job of a leader is to grow other leaders. And when you spread it and you promote people and you send them off and they off doing their thing, they remember. I'm just telling you.
He's been there 12 years. That's going to happen.
No, but it's not.
When you're mayor for more than 10 years, that happens.
That's not true.
Every mayor.
It's a lot. That's not true.
Every Detroit mayor.
That's not true.
Okay.
It's a lot of.
You just mentioned every.
That's not
mayor.
true. It's a lot of county execs that people name they don't say.
We're talking about Detroit. We're talking about the Detroit mayor.
I just said Ed McNamara. He wasn't a mayor. That's what I'm saying.
We're talking about Detroit.
But
mayor.
I said Ed McNamara. He wasn't a mayor. I'm just saying in any field in leadership, like if you're a leader, if people say, if they're somewhere else and they be like, oh, you probably want to go talk to Al because Al helped me. I see a lot of that with Duggan. Duggan has helped a lot of people. I'm just telling y'all what it could be. That's the what it could be when people ask. You have to look at what is leadership, and that's what it could be. So with Jocelyn Benson, when people come back from around the country or even from around the state to say, hey, she poured into me, she helped me. Would they do that with Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist? So Duggan has a lot of relationships out there and a lot of people that he helped catapult into whatever you want to call it. So I'm just telling you the why and the behind the scenes of why I've heard. And that's maybe why these pastors, and you're going to see many more endorsements. It's not just pastors. It's some Democratic elected officials that's going to come out and be like, I'm with Duggan, and I want to see people.
I think that people miss the boat on policy and what's happened in the past in Detroit. So the water issue, for instance, in the city of Detroit, people, if you look at, and you can talk to Mr. Williams, D'Amico Williams, he'll tell you about this water issue. Churches had an issue. Businesses had an issue. Homes had an issue. And what Duggan did was people were getting charged for their parking lots, drainage fees, sewage fees, to the point where some churches were going to lose their property. They were going to lose their livelihoods. These same people, hold on.
I agree with you.
Let me finish. Hold on, let me finish. Some of these same people, some of these same pastors who have huge parking lots but couldn't afford their water bill, were going to lose their church to foreclosure, got saved by Duggan. And now their reaper is coming to sow. And so,
you said they got saved by Duggan?
Yeah, I mean, so there
were. That's what I'm.
And so, yes, He got.
He like they same. He the same a
He's
church.
the same one who put them in the predicament of losing their church, Tashana.
You know, I
Okay.
understand. I
Wait, we
understand
gotta
what he's
talk
saying.
about the
Go ahead.
mayor's race, y'all,
Okay.
before we go. And all I'm saying, I'm not. I'm just telling you the why. What I hear. Okay, that is the why people they figured out you could go in and they be like Duggan. I started with Duggan. So we gotta talk about this Detroit mayor's race, which is another hot topic. I can't wait till next Friday for this topic and when we follow up. And when y'all see those Democrat elected officials that saying I endorse Duggan, I wonder how that's gonna come about. Okay, so the Detroit mayor race. Okay, the candidates have been narrowed down. Actually, Al Williams hosted a forum
Yep,
and
that was a good forum.
Supermajority partnered with Al Williams to help host that forum, African American Leadership Institute. It was a great forum. We have Jonathan Barlow, Chief James Craig, the former chief police of Detroit. I said that all wrong. Fred Durhal, Joe Hashim,
Joel.
Joel Hashim. Please pronounce. Is it Shanti
Santil.
Santil? Because I want to
Santil Jenkins.
Santil Jenkins, Pastor Solomon Kinlock, Todd Perkins, and Mary Sheffield. And let's clear it up. Tracy, please misspoke. Pastor Solomon Kinlock is not on that list for endorsing Duggan. I don't want nobody to take that away. He is not on that list. Okay. Oh, and we have a final one. What is it? Landi? What's his name?
He's a write-in candidate, so you got Rogelio Landon, and then you have Dean Evans, who's also a candidate.
So let's recap what we saw at our forum, and then we can also talk about we visited the IBEW, well no, the AFL-CIO forum that was hosted at IBEW. In our forum, who do you think came out as a strong winner? And you guys all can view it too. Is that if you go to myblackleader.com and you can view the entire forum, and please email us or whatever and let us know who you like, right? Who do you think did a great job at the forum?
I at the forum, I think that all the candidates brought something specific to the table. At this forum, they all had a moment. I believe. I think Sheffield had a moment. She showed her experience and brevity of experience, and so did Durhal. I think Chantel Jenkins was phenomenal when it came to being empathetic and showing not only her experience but her empathy and being able to tell stories that relate to folk. And I think that even James Craig did well. I mean, he was a star, and he's going to be the star on public safety. And so I think they all brought something to the table. Surprisingly, though, I think Durhal did exceptionally well. I think Mary Sheffield, she showed her her expertise and that evening at the forum. But the two council members, or the three former council members, the people with the experience, you can tell that they are poised and ready to not only have a good campaign season, but also ready to lead.
So I think I was very surprised at Fred Durhal performance. I was very surprised. Fred Durhal did very well. He did, and I went into that not even him as even one of my, he I was it was I was it was very like he answered all the questions. It was from the heart. He talked about family. He's the only one with a family, but it's just like he's more polished now or something, right? It's like it was a great form for him. I don't want to say a performance because a performance sound like they were performing for us, which they were. But I want to say about Santil. Did I pronounce it right?
Santil Jenkins.
Santil Jenkins. It's not Chantil, y'all. So I'm working. It's Santil Jenkins. I was very, 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 very much so into it. She's effortless when relating to people, right? So I tell people it's like she's everybody's auntie, everybody's sisters, everybody's mother, even your boy's boy, right? Like, and she does it effortlessly. It's like she's not trying to gain your vote, but she gains your vote along the way. You're like, hey, like, wow, it's there. And she knows what she's talking about. Todd Perkins did a good job to me. Uh Solomon Kinlock was not at ours. We'll talk about the IBW. He had a funeral. It was said he had a funeral, so he couldn't attend ours. James Craig did well, but James Craig is a truthful. That what he is what it is with James Craig. Mary Sheffield for me is she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff because you can't like she knows her stuff, but it's like very and I want her cam. It's very robotic to me, and that's because I think what you just said right now with what happened, we're all messed up in the head where like she knows her stuff and probably be the best, right? Her, Durhal, or Santil. But are people looking for that right now? It came off very robotic to me. It's like and maybe it's guarding herself because so many people try to attack her. So I know that feeling, right? To where then you're operating like that. But it needs to be more part it's something is, but that's how I gauged each one of them. But yeah, they know their stuff. Like I would trust Fred. I would trust any of them. Now, IBW, do you want to talk about that one?
So our forum had 7 candidates on the dais, 2 candidates in the room. The 2 candidates that were in the room weren't able to be on the dais. Well, one didn't want to be on the dais. At the AFL-CIO forum, they only had 5 candidates. They didn't allow all the candidates, so you couldn't really compare them all. So you didn't get every story. I think that they were more combative on issues pertaining, or they were more focused on issues pertaining to their sector of people, meaning working union members. And so the questions were geared around unions. I think that most of the candidates sounded the same. Almost every answer was, I agree with supporting unions. My family was union. I've been
Well,
a union member.
a lot of them said that
So,
they were not a union member before,
well,
because that was the first question.
well, I mean, they either said that I'm a union member or my family was in union. So
Right.
I learned. So it was all the same. I'm in the union or my family was in the union. Or
Who
yes, I
stuck out
support
for
union.
you there?
I mean, I think the people that's going to stick out, that's going to continue to stick out in this race are the people that know the job.
That know the job.
And
That's true.
so you're going to hear a lot of pop in circumstance. You're going to hear a lot of rah rah, but you need to find who knows the job. There are only a few candidates in the race, and they all bring something special. They can all lead in their own way, but we need someone who not only can lead but who knows the job. Detroit is at a crossroads. I mean, we are 12 years out of having an African American in leadership. We are booming when it comes to construction, on
Okay,
the
I got
way
you
to
coming.
booming. And so the next mayor is going to lead a lot of help, but they don't need to be able to walk in there and have to take a whole year to learn the job. They don't have that kind of
So
time.
for the IBW, I liked Kinlock. I did. And so when you speak about knowing the job, I understand that. And I also like James Craig. James Craig, when I'm looking at who answered the questions, right? Of course, Mary Sheffield knows the job. I mean, she knew the job.
So
So I'm
Kinlock
not taking that away.
answered the questions.
I'm telling you who I like. I'm telling you wait, let me explain it. Who inspired me?
Whether they answered the questions or not.
Who inspired me?
Whether they answered the questions or
I'm
not.
just telling you who. I'm telling you the truth as a voter. Don't get upset because I'm telling
not
you.
upset.
And
I'm
this is
just
wait.
asking.
This is what but most voters do. Whether they answer the question, I'm telling you that. Let me just be very honest and transparent. It was a question that was answered, and Kinlock did not answer the question. So this is the roller coaster ride you go on. And I'm gonna be very honest with people. No, he did not answer the question. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't hear it, or maybe one click, whatever. But he transformed the question into something else. First, we look at each other and we say, me and somebody else say, well, he didn't answer the question. But by the end of it, you was like, woohoo, because he gave us something else. And that's literally, I'm telling you how a voter feels, whether it's right or wrong. See, this is what Trump did. Trump just said jobs, jobs, jobs. And people like, oh, Democrats get these long answers and they wonder why they lose people. Killock inspired me. I was very disappointed that they did not have Durhal there. They said they did a poll and he polled 1% or left 1%. I don't know how that could happen because it was people that was on the stage that more people know Durhal
Yeah, I
than
don't know
the
how
other one.
James Craig is getting more than 1% in any
But
poll.
this, no, James, people like James Craig.
I
Let me
know,
say
but
this.
I'm just saying.
And my mother loves James Craig, and she is a strong Democrat. People like James Craig because
That's
he
my man.
says
I like him too. I just wouldn't poll.
because he says the truth. Like he says what it is. He's not gonna tell. I'm just telling
I
y'all.
like him too. That's
So
my man.
I'm just telling y'all why people like people. And so Killock was very inspiring to me. He like I didn't care what I was like, woo, I'm with you. I'm a fight. That's just the emotion I had. Al looks for intellectual, but all voters are not.
No.
Let me tell you, all voters are not brilliant.
I'm not saying they have to be. I'm not saying they have to be. I'm looking for something more than just a Sunday sermon. I'm looking for somebody who has read the charter, knows the job, and can inspire people at the same time. And so I like Kinlock. He cool. He's great in the pulpit. And maybe being a pastor will translate into being a politician. I don't know. It has not. We haven't seen that yet in this city. No pastor has ever been elected to mayor.
He runs his church like a business. I think he has saved. He has done so much. Like it was a question though when he said, "I don't want to talk about what I will do. I'm gonna talk about what I have done." Where he gave over, I think it was like 50,000 laptops to people. 10,000 or something. It was a huge number.
Yeah,
but
it's like 30 pastors in Detroit who's done that.
Kinlock is in the community, actually doing the work. Mary is in the community doing the work too. She didn't talk about her street thing.
But what I want to know is this, because Al asked a question at the forum.
And we got to get ready to close out
and
too.
The question was, what would you like to see your legacy be?
Right.
I think we're asking the wrong questions. I think we need to ask them, what do you intend to do if you're not elected? Or if you are elected and then termed out. I want to know, how beholden are these people to the Democratic Party after they leave office? All right.
It's nonpartisan.
Oh no, and then Kinlock said something that struck too.
It's
with
nonpartisan.
The people. And then we'll close out. Kinlock said this: we keep talking about the same issues and they ain't been done. Because the people are there. The issues still haven't been tackled. Nothing's been done already. So why not try something new? That message is going to work with people. Then look at our president. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know what? Dave Bing. He was not like every politician before.
You can think like a politician.
Is he a politician? Is he not?
Thank you for watching Politics Princess. We will be back. Be back with you too, Al, because I love talking.